All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into a really radical idea. It's about a symbolic language, one that's designed to protect human meaning from getting totally lost in all the noise from artificial intelligence.
So, the system we're going to break down was built to solve a problem that is, well, it's very us right now. We're just flooded with information. Our conversations online are all over the place. And now AI can mimic human expression so well you can barely tell the difference. It all comes down to one core question. How do we actually protect real, genuine meaning in all this noise?
And listen, this isn't some far-off sci-fi problem. The source material calls it an epistemic challenge. Okay, that's a pretty fancy term, but it just means the very foundations of how we know what's true are starting to feel a little shaky. I mean, think about it. When real human creativity and something an AI spits out look exactly the same, meaning itself is really at risk.
So what's the answer? Well, the folks at Nothing Bird Studio came up with something they called the Echo Codex. It's this whole conceptual framework and symbolic language designed to create, a kind of protected space where meaning can actually emerge.
Now, don't think of this as just another tool. It's more like a special grammar, a way of handling really complex ideas. It's basically an interface where humans and AI can work together. But, and this is the key part, with really clear boundaries. Those boundaries are there to stop our original intentions from slowly getting watered down. The source has a great term for this, conceptual drift.
Okay, this whole system is built on 5 core principles. Think of them like guardrails that keep everything intentional and focused on the human element. For instance, number 2, automation yields to ceremony. That basically means we're choosing a meaningful process over just being mindlessly efficient. But the one that really hits home right now, number 3, AI echoes, never impersonates. That one is absolutely crucial.
So, right at the heart of the codex is its symbolic grammar, and it's all built from these 4 core glyphs. Now, these aren't just pretty icons. Nope. Each one represents a totally distinct mode of thinking. First up, we've got emergence. This is all about the birth of new ideas. That spark of creativity? It's that moment when something brand new starts to crystallize out of the unknown. This is the zone of pure creativity, of those aha moments, those sudden flashes of insight. It's the mode you tap into when you're just exploring what's possible, trying to create something that's genuinely new. All right, next up is resonance. This glyph is all about relationships, connections, how all the different pieces of a puzzle vibrate together to create this single coherent whole. So you'd use this lens to, say, analyze the emotional climate of your team, or to check the coherence between different ideas. It's really focused on how things feel and connect, not just what they look like on paper. And our third glyph provides the foundation, structure. It makes sense, right? Once an idea pops up and starts to resonate, it needs some kind of container to hold it all together and give it some shape. This is all about the need for frameworks, for systematic thinking. You could say structure is the skeleton that keeps a complex idea from just falling into a heap. It gives it the stability it needs to actually grow. And last but definitely not least, we have the mirror. This one is the glyph of reflection. It's that point of ethical return where we have to stop and check our work against what we originally set out to do. The mirror is all about introspection, about transparency, and this concept the source calls epistemic hygiene. I love that term. It's that absolutely crucial moment where you step back and ask the tough questions. Is this work really true to its purpose? Is it aligned? Is it even clear? Okay, so we've got the principles, we've got the glyphs, but you're probably wondering, how does this actually get used in the real world? How does the codex move from just being a cool idea to something you can actually practice? Well, in practice, it can be used in 4 key ways. It can be a teaching tool, helping you situate new concepts. It can be a creative framework for an artist who needs clarity. It can be an analytical lens for a researcher, or, and this is fascinating, it can be a scaffold for building archives that preserve actual meaning, not just raw data. Now, one of the most critical jobs for the Codex right now, today, is helping us define our relationship with AI. It's about moving beyond this simple idea that AI is just another tool in the toolbox. So here's the bottom line. The Codex creates a boundary, a really important one. On one side, you've got AI as this hyper-simulator. It's impersonating, it's watering down context, and you lose track of where anything came from. But on the other side, when it's guided by the Codex, AI becomes an echo. It becomes a ceremonial collaborator in a process that is intentional, attributable, and rich with context.
And you know what? This entire system, in its simplest, most practical form, really boils down to 4 profound questions. And these are questions you can apply to your own work, your own thinking, really any creative project you have.
First, put on your emergence lens and just ask, what is trying to emerge here? What new patterns, what new ideas or possibilities are trying to take shape? What wants to be born?
Second, you switch to the resonance lens. And here you ask, okay, how does this new thing relate to everything else? Does it vibe with the people involved? Does it connect with the project's history, its core values? Then, number 3, you turn to structure. What's the framework? What's the system or the container that can actually support this idea and ground it? How can we help it mature without it just collapsing under its own weight? And finally, you hold up the mirror and you ask, how do we reflect this back to the world? How can we do it with clarity, with integrity, with transparency, making absolutely sure it's still aligned with why we started this in the first place? See, in the end, the Echo Codex isn't really about being more productive. It's about something deeper. It's about creating what the source calls a quiet field in which meaning can breathe. It's about making a space where our ideas aren't just drowned out by all the digital noise, but are actually given the structure they need to find their truest form. So I'll leave you with this question. How could you create a space like that in your own life and in your own work?